Hi everyone, it's your boy Zach, and I'm a little frustrated. This is my third attempt to start this video. Without fail, like anytime I start a video, all of a sudden every stupid sound in the world will start up. The AC will start up full blast. Some Disney bird will start going nuts outside the window, or my buddy will inexplicably just start singing. He never sings. He just started singing for no reason in the other room, and you can hear it. It's ridiculous. So anyway, I just finished watching Blade from 1998, and oh my gosh, I don't know if I never noticed how good it was, or I did, but then I forgot, or maybe just all the superhero movies in the last 21 years since 1998 have made it look a lot better. So I did see Blade in the theaters. I think I saw it a couple times. I remember specifically where I was working, Hangtown Grill, and what I was driving, 1975 Honda 750 motorcycle. So I remember that time very clearly, and just kind of being blown away by it. Because, you know, I had grown up, I had seen like the Superman movies in the 70s and 80s, and, you know, the Michael Keaton, and then they did Kilmer, and then the year before they had Batman and Robin with Clooney, George Clooney. So I had seen superhero movies, but they had always been like winky. I know people were saying that Batman 1989 was so like serious, but watch it right now. It's pretty winky. It's like one step above the Adam West movie. And TV show. They did make a movie out of it, so I didn't technically misspeak. But one of the things that keeps getting brought up about Blade in all of like the shill media sites are like, Blade started the modern era of superhero movies. But did it, or did Spawn the year before do that? Anyway, now I don't remember which things I said in the two videos I deleted. I might have just said the same anecdote twice in the first 2 minutes. Anyway, I've never gotten this far. Blade was the first of 3 movies and a TV series that no one remembers. But in a lot of ways, it was the first of everything. It was the first, franchise, the new franchise. It also was David Goyer, and then David Goyer went on to go help architect the Christopher Nolan Batman movies. By the way, I had not noticed how Batman Begins-esque Blade is. First of all, okay, so I've seen the first one. I think I saw it, in the theaters a couple times, and then maybe I saw it on like VHS. I don't know if I've even watched it in the last since this millennium started. Blade 2, I've seen probably 5-6 times. Blade 3, which I love, I've probably seen a dozen times. But I forgot many, many things from the first Blade movie. First of all, it's set in the real world. It appears to be filmed in Los Angeles in very realistic settings. The only thing they really kind of pumped up is, and it kind of makes me laugh, is they throw a lot of pieces of paper, and then they have wind machines below them, and it looks kind of cool, but it's also a little silly, because like the third time they do it, like, what, people are just throwing blank pieces of paper on the ground. Anyway, this was like the first comic book movie, or maybe Spawn was, that really just treated it seriously, was set pretty much in the real world, and it wasn't set in comic book world. Like in the Superman movies with Christopher Reeve, is it Reeve or Reeves? I don't know. It would be filmed in Manhattan, but then everyone would talk like they knew they were in a comic. They would say, "Look, it's Superman." Nobody really talks like that. There's a lot of normal people in this movie. Not a lot with speaking rules, but there's a lot of crowd scenes. There's a lot of Blade saving people. Like, he's a superhero, and specifically saving children. But everyone who sees something supernatural happen, they just kind of get scared and run away. No one says, "Look, it's Blade, the Daywalker." He's just like some weird, scary guy with a gun, and you just run away because guys with guns are scary. Like, nobody knows he's a hero. But one of the things I kept thinking when I first started like watching the first 30 minutes is, Underworld came out, 3 years later? I like Underworld. I actually like the later movies more than the first one, but Underworld is actually a better title for Blade than it is for Underworld. Underworld is really Vampire High Society. That's a name for it. But they really build this whole underworld of, you got Deacon Frost, you got the half-breed vampires, their little gang, and then you got the full breeds and their elites, and you got the familiars, which are humans who work for the vampires hoping to be turned. And then you got the blood banks, and you got all these, infrastructure. You got Pearl, who's kind of like a data server manager. You got the archives. It's really, really good. The other thing I forgot about it is, like I say, it's a real movie, akin to a Indiana Jones movie. Here's Indiana Jones. We're going to show him in his grave robber outfit, and we're going to show him being a professor. We're going to show the different parts of his life. We're going to show, what is it? Brody and Sala and his friends, and you're going to meet his whole world. He's going to be in basically every scene, and you're going to go on an adventure. One of the things I love about this, and they kind of stopped doing this, is now everything is big. Everything is the end of the world. And, we're going to, do an origin, and then we're going to introduce all these characters. He doesn't have origin. He's already Blade. And there's a lot of him just exploring. Where's this? Oh, it's through this door. Open the door. Ooh, it looks spooky. Go inside. Oh, there's a mystery. Get attacked. There's a lot of that. One of the things I like about this movie is the sets. There are a lot of sets. Some of them are huge. They got this whole, kind of altar chamber at the end, and it looks like they actually built the thing. It doesn't look like it's they moved the camera so much it can't be a matte painting. And this is before you could do really, really good, CGI 3D environment. So it looks like they literally built this silo that's 6 stories tall that looks like it's made out of marble. No pun intended. But the thing I like about this is Blade is at the front. He's in every scene. He has a story. He has tragedy. He has goals. He has friends. He has allies. One of my favorite things, I've mentioned in 3 videos on my other channel, is Blade has friends. I forgot he has friends. He's got this homie. There's a store that sells essence of garlic. He goes there to pick up that and not potions, but liquids that he needs for his war. And he's buddies with the owner there. I mean, it's clearly that they're friends. It's clearly shown that they're friends. I forgot, and I kept thinking, I love Blade 2, but it really, really reinvented. It basically said Blade is a cool guy. He doesn't have a lot of depth. He's just a cool guy who says cool things, does cool poses, and he kills a lot of people. But Blade in the first one is this guy trying to hide in the shadows of the real world while saving people, while dealing with his unique status, and he feels weird. There's a point where I forget her character's name. The actress is Bushy Wright, and she's talking to him. He's like, you're not like them. You're human. He's like, humans don't drink blood. I'm not human. And you can see he's very, very conflicted. And there's some great scenes where his mother turns out to be basically the lover of Deacon Frost, the main bad guy, and she's gone completely evil. And there's some really good, obviously. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking on his name? This is ridiculous. I'm literally blanking on the main character's name. I'm fasting again. Blade, the actor who plays Blade, Wesley Snipes, sorry, is basically his mom is completely evil. He knows he has to kill her. She's messing with his head. The old mom is obviously gone. It's just this complete villainous, and she's borderline kissing him, and he's just kind of looking up at the sky, and you can tell he's going through this huge amount of internal turmoil, but he's this tough guy. But there's all these great scenes, especially when you introduce Whistler. Now he does the gruff whatever old man, but you also see the way he talks about Whistler to other people, where this is his father figure, and he respects him and he loves him like a father. At one point, Whistler has been basically gutted, and I think he's being turned into a vampire. So he basically says, give me the gun. And he's like, no. He curses him out. Give me a gun so I can, And there's this great moment. It's got to be an actor's choice. I don't see it being in the script where, Blade, he moves like a anime character, these quick movements. But he pulls out the gun, and then he doesn't hand it to him, and he doesn't hand it to him for a while. Now his face is fairly, the same. He's not into like crying or anything, but you can tell he's thinking. He goes, this is it. I hand this to him, and I'm all alone. And then he hands it to him, and then he's like, walk away, and you see him walk away, and then you hear the gunshot. Now, obviously, Whistler comes back in the second one, but he doesn't know that. And I don't think they knew it at the time. It seems to be like a real, like, he's dead type of thing. But I just love it. I love the world building. I love the actual concentrating on the main character. When I think about movies nowadays, I think about Marvel formula and all the quips, but I also think about how everything has to be so big. Like, I don't remember, maybe Captain America Winter Soldier had some of it, just like, hey, we're trying to find, the villains do it too. So Deacon Frost, he's like a half-breed. He was born a human, so he's a lower class of vampire. But he seems to be someone that people respect. You got to keep an eye on him. He's smart. He's also diligent. Now, they do some kind of teenagery stuff where he's got like earbuds in and he's listening to music, and an elder's trying to talk to him and he's just blowing him off. He's like, listen to me. But you see that Deacon Frost is smart and he's working hard. They've got these old texts from, about an ancient vampire god, but they can't read them because it's a dead language. So he starts taking pictures of all of them and then running them through a kind of like a decryption software that just endlessly goes through these thousands and maybe millions of glyphs to uncover this language. At one point, he's just sitting in a server room, and he's listening to whatever techno, and it's supposed to be, oh, he's so cool, but it's like, wait, he's got a story and he's got a goal, and he's working. Like, he's kind of matched in, he's got his gang and he's trying to, have a plan. While Blade is more physical, but he's also, there's just great moments. There's moments where he's just like sitting in his room. Oh, the set design is great. They show his room. He's got like a plant. I think it symbolizes his mother. He's got, obviously he's got martial arts training. It looks to be from Asia. But you really get a sense of this character, and I really, really love it. And they did ask Stephen Norrington. By the way, I looked up Stephen Norrington because like, this movie's so good. What else has he done? The guy's in his mid-50s. He's only done 4 movies. And as far as I can tell, he hasn't directed something since League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which I actually really like. In 2003, he hasn't made a movie in 16 years. But then he made 3 movies in like 9 or 4 movies in 9 years. So I looked him up, and apparently he's this guy for like 10 years. He was the guy who developed everything and then left the project. Like he was developing Ghost Rider. He was developing Shang-Chi. He was developing like 4 or 5 other things that eventually got made by other people. So I don't know. I don't know if he just retired or if you make enough money developing stuff. Maybe they give him like a little executive producer credit so he gets some, some of the money coming in. But it was just good. So he was invited back for the sequel, and it looks like he turned it down. I'm really wondering what would have happened, because the Blade movies are interesting. None of them really match each other at all. Oh, the other thing is that there's all these stories about Wesley Snipes acting, quote, crazy on the third one, basically threatening the director and just, making his stunt double do most of it. And I used to be kind of frustrated because I like Wesley Snipes and I love the Blade movies. I was like, why was he like that? It's really petulant. But then you watch the first movie and you go, this is all him. The Blade movie came from him trying to develop the Black Panther movie for like 5 years. And then they're like, it's a little big. Let's just do this Blade. It's a lot simpler. You can shoot it all in LA. And it's all him. Like, it's the Wesley Snipes show. And then in the second one, they introduced like 10 new characters. And he becomes almost like a co-lead. And then by the third one, he's like, it's all the focus on the young kids and all these jokes. And I understand why he's angry. He's like, hey, I started all of this. Like, this wouldn't exist for me, and you're making me a guest star in my own movie. So there's still talk about him bringing him back, incorporating him into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I don't want that. I don't want him showing up for one scene with that, British kid with the super jokey Spider-Man who wants to be Iron Man and having his overacting face. Oh, you hunt vampires? Oh, vampires are real? I don't want that. bring him back in a Blade movie. Bring back Stephen Norton. Bring it back low budget. And I mean like low budget. And go back into that world you created. I still think the fairly realistic world and then these crazy vampire undercurrents, I think that works better than number 2, which was basically a video game, and number 3, which was basically a precursor of the CW superhero shows that would come out like 15 years later. Anyway, tell me what you think about this video. Oh, I actually kind of remembered why I memory hold Blade, and it's probably the same reason a lot of people do, is because they have CGI in there at the end when Deacon Frost becomes this blood monster, and it's terrible. I remember even at the time saying, this is awful. This is, because you started the 1990s with Jurassic Park and Terminator 2, The Abyss, and there was a really, really good. And then they just started to cheap out and just go out to these, firms that were probably doing like Mucinex commercials, and they have all these liquid effect, and it's awful. It's so bad, and it just takes you right out of the movie, and it's embarrassing. So I think it kind of, people go, oh, that was stupid, but the movie wasn't stupid. It's just the effects were really, really terrible. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll my Amazon Prime Video queue is absolutely stuffed. I got all 3 Blade movies. I think they just released all of at least the original cast. What do you call it? The original cast Star Trek movies, all of them. So I think I might just start working my way through those. So I got enough just Amazon Prime movies to last me for next month or so. But I also want to do the finale of Arrow. And obviously, if anyone's got suggestions. Oh, my buddy was telling me, I don't know if my buddy's dumb or he was just messing with me. He was telling me like The Expanse, like 2/3 of the characters are gay. I was like, that doesn't really seem like realistic writing. That seems like some kind of agenda. And then I mentioned that on my other channel, and everyone's like, that's not true. And I asked my buddy, I was like, were you messing with me? Why did you say that? Because a lot of people recommend The Expanse, but I don't like, agenda stuff. I was like, that sounds like agenda. And he goes, well, you have to read between the lines. I'm like, really, dude? I go, how many characters kiss? That's a pretty good indicator who's gay. He goes, oh, yeah, like 2 of them in 3 seasons. I'm like, what the hell, dude? You're making me sound like an idiot. So anyway, but I've heard multiple things. I've heard this season 2 is bad. And then my buddy was like, you know what? You just might as well start at season 3. So if anyone wants me to check out an episode of The Expanse, let me know which one, and I'll check out that one. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.